and welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Victor, and today is going to be another weekly Ascension energy update for the week of October 30th, 2017. Normally I prefer to shoot these videos at the beach. It was not the nicest day today, but the other day I did happen to catch some footage of some dolphins in the distance, and I'll show you a little clip of that at the end of the video. Anyways, I'll get right into the video. As I always do, I break up my perception of what's going on right now in the collective with this whole ascension process. I break it up into 5 or so different themes that you can hopefully latch on to and maybe gain some insight from and benefit from. Okay, I'll get into those themes right now. Number 1, I'd say the primary theme is to dream big, basically. It's that we're coming into a much greater awareness of how, just in fact, how powerful we really are. It's amazing that we have a planet with billions of people that are only aware of just the smallest little fraction of what they're capable of. But there's a lot of people, the forerunners, the light workers, the people who are going through this path kind of intensely right now and are quickly rising more so to their potential, their potential, their true power they have. And as we are doing this, it's opening up a lot of doors into what our life can look like soon, and also in just the grand scope of our lifetime. So it's a great time as you emerge into this level of empowerment that is unprecedented. It's a great time to dream really, really big, to not set limits on yourself. A lot of the limits, the limitations, the realistic, let's not set ourselves up for failure kind of mentality, that is, in a sense, might have its place, but not now. It's just a fantastic time to dream big, to just don't hold back, man. Whatever you can conceive of is a potential reality that you can actually experience. Number 2, as I mentioned, this is a time of an incredible ascent to power and expansion, and more of than ever before, a fuller embodiment of our true self. But as we go through this cycle, there sometimes are periods of what a lot of people refer to as the dark night of the soul, a time when you're feeling the exact opposite of what I was just talking about, where you feel very powerless and truly on all levels stuck to just continue to live out a very miserable existence, trapped in your own patterns, that you now have enough awareness to see just how these old unconscious egoic patterns are keeping you unhappy and fearful and discontent and from just maybe in a literal circumstance of not of your preference. And sometimes you can feel just very powerless over that and just like hopeless. I know about a week ago, I was just in the middle of the day, I went and just laid up in my bed, and I was just so depressed and man, I just can't do this anymore. But I know after those dark nights, the sun shines and it's brighter than ever, and you're like, whoa. The dark night of the soul is not something that happens just one time. It's just a phase that precedes a great expansion, a great upgrade, just big, just awesome, expansive experiences that are really close. So if you're in that dark night, get excited, because you're very, very, very close from breaking through to a whole nother aspect of who you are and what you can do in this life, man. It's a good time. The dark night of the soul is as dark as it is. It's a time to really start getting jazzed up because you're about to break through. Number 3, one experiential element of this new level of empowerment, which I believe a lot of you will start to experience more fully maybe after the dark night cycle, if you're even going through this. This is a general reading. You might not have any dark night of the soul sort of thing going, in which case don't dread it like it's going to happen. Just oftentimes before a big breakthrough it happens. But anyways, the breakthrough, right? We get the breakthrough. And the way you might experience this is a more, just a greater, I'm trying to think of the way to word this, just more of a recognition of like, whoa, I really do influence heavily my day-to-day, moment-to-moment experience with my co-creative imagination. I'll give an example. The other day, I was putting my son Sebastian to bed, and he sometimes fights going to bed, as I'm sure a lot of you parents can relate with, and he just kept coming out of the room 2 or 3, 4 times. He came out, and I'd put him back in. But the 3rd or 4th time, as you know, I was very frustrated, like, man, you know, but as I was sitting there watching him like fight going to sleep, and I was sitting there like in his bed with him, I realized, I became aware of my own energy of frustration and expectation that he's just gonna get up again. I kept thinking, you know, I was in that like resistant mode, and I just suddenly could tell it was affecting him. So I immediately decided to like get all zenned out on him. I tried to bring my energy down and intend, just using my imagination, intend for him to feel at peace. Intend for myself to feel at peace. Intend for the situation to look, to go how I want it to go. Rather than focusing on, oh my goodness, this is happening. I said, how do you want it to go, Vic? What would your ideal scenario be? Well, it'd be for him to fall asleep and to feel good and happy and secure, and me to have my mood uplifted and go about my night. And that's exactly what I decided. I created that state of being in myself a lot faster than I'm used to being able to do. I had a lot more of control than I thought. I tried, and it worked instantly. The moment my energy changed, it was like he fell asleep. I could just see in him. And I've been noticing that in many other areas of my life, many of them, honestly, where I'll be in a situation or a circumstance, and I'll realize that normally, like, I'll catch myself kind of resisting and maybe complaining in my mind, and I instead of just becoming aware of that, I say, how do you want it to look? And then I just visualize the outcome I want, and then it happens that way. Out of this dark night, at this particular stage of the game, a lot of people are going to start to become aware of just how good of a manifester they really are. Like, our power has been literally hidden from us, and we're like waking up to it for the first time. It's like anything you want, you can just kind of visualize and intend and watch it play out in your life. Give it a try. Granted, there are echoes of the past, so I don't mean that to be taken too literally or too mystical, but I think a good amount of us, at least watching this kind of video, have let go of enough baggage where we are a lot more free to start creating and manifesting as we choose to. Number 4, I'm going to talk about relationships sometimes, because as people continue to embody more of themselves, more of a bold expression of their true soul self, it's becoming apparent just how much diversity there is in personalities and just perspectives, opinions, ideologies. And sometimes we can be confronted with our own lack of acceptance through partnerships or friends or situations where we got to kind of compromise with people in our lives that just have such a diametrically opposed viewpoint on something. And it can create some internal stress. And I think collectively we have kind of a tendency to want to change them, change their minds, because it makes us it's just uncomfortable. But that's not going to work anymore. People are going to just continue to become more outlandishly themselves, more fully themselves, and we're just going to have to get used to it. And the only solution I've ever found is acceptance. To truly do my best to accept that this person sees the world totally differently than me, and a lot of maybe my fundamental core truths, they don't see it that way. But that's fine. It doesn't mean I can't be in a relationship with them. It doesn't mean I can't love them and get along with them. In fact, I'll probably learn a lot from them rather than have a bunch of yes men or yes women in my life that just, it's like there's no growth there. but I think it's something that we're all adjusting to. So if you feel like there's some struggle or whatever in your relationships, then usually a pretty solid game plan is to see how much, try to develop your level of acceptance of them, and it'll clear the air. Number 5, dude, I feel like a lot of our hard work is about to pay off here. I feel like we're so close because of this expansion of our empowerment. It's going to start to play out in many areas of your life that you might have not even imagined. You'll just start to see that, wow, I was holding myself back so much. It really isn't so much about the circumstances. There's so much flexibility within every circumstance that is directly influenced by your level of worthiness and empowerment. And as that changes, your circumstance as a pale physical representation might not seem to budge all that much, but your mind is going to just be so wide open, and it'll be a lot easier to start influencing your circumstance from this new level of empowerment. So just a lot of ups and downs as always. I know you might, depending on when this video catches you, you might not be in some sort of happy, blissful state. I woke up kind of late today, and I've had kind of one of those days, but it doesn't matter. This is a phenomenal time, and even on my darkest day, I can kind of feel it. I can feel that we are very close to breaking through, and then just having more of a remembrance of our mastery, true mastery, and that is going to allow you to much more easily clean up whatever circumstances that might be in your life, and therefore, like, put it into the past and live more in the new. The visions you have for yourself, I think, are a lot closer than you might think. Anyways, that's it, my friends. I hope you enjoyed this update. I always enjoy shooting them. I'm happy to report that every single Monday you can look forward now to a weekly energy update, and most likely also every weekend. I hope you all have a kick-ass week. See you soon. Namaste.